Good morning. I'm going to link the previous video that I just did on this Mojo Monday sketch 558. While I was putting it together, there were a couple things that didn't go quite right. And so I'm going to try what I was talking about, which is figuring out if there's a way to get two cards out of this instead of just one. Okay, so the key to this whole thing is this cut here. Okay, so we're going to cut this at 4, and I've got two pieces of paper, all right, two 6x6. They're exactly the same. I'm using the front side and the back side, all right, and so I'm cutting them. I put them so that this side is up and then this side is up. All right, so this is the 4 by 5 1/4. And I can put two pieces of paper in my cutter. All right, and then I'm going to measure this. This is kind of disjointed, but if it works, I wanted you to see it. Okay, and again, this is that centering ruler that I bought. So it's 225. And then over on this side, right, it's 3 1/2. And the previous video will be linked below. Okay, and then we lay this with the 2 pencil marks so that it's at an angle. Okay, and then we hang on to these in this, and we take our two pieces that we're going to put this on, which is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, so if we put this piece here, all right, and then this piece here, ooh, it's gonna work, and then this piece here, and then this piece here, all right. And then I've got several of these little skinny strips that I cut off of things. We're going to lay this across here and lay this across here. And that's just to make that edge look a little better, okay? And then the circles, okay, I've got a bunch of these. And then the squares, the 2 by 3 1/2 are here. And these we can cut out of black. I've got another piece of that. And we can figure out which way to do that, and this can be cut out of black. Okay, I'm going to pause the video while I do all this cutting. Okay, I did a whole bunch of cutting. Let me clear some of this out of the way. Let me get a mat to glue on. I buy these at the Dollar Tree for $1 1/4. And I use them in situations like this so I don't make a mess, and then if they get too icky, I throw them out. Okay, what I did was I took two pieces of 6x6 and cut them in such a way that I got the similar tops Let me kind of slide them together here and then make sure that this is all the way up in screen. Okay, so that I got similar tops and similar bottoms, only like as far as size was concerned, only the colors are swapped. And so if we take these pieces off of here, you can see that. Now this is a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And so these two things are going to fit right up against each other on there. All right. And these, these will fit like this. We're going to glue all these down here in just a second and hope for the best. Okay, and then to make this edge a little easier on the eye, we're going to lay these strips across here and cut them off. All right, same thing on this side. All right, then we're going to put this one on here and this one on here. Okay, so then we put this one over here and this one over here. Now, these are a little shorter than what you see in the sketch, okay? But that's because we're using the pieces off the bottom that we had left over so that we don't waste that. And then we've got, there was that square that was left like this when we cut that off of the, remember this, there was a 2-inch piece over here. So we cut that at 3 1/2. Remember there was this piece down here. Okay, and so that we cut this circle out of there, and that one is 1 3/4, and these were my little 1 1/2s that I have a whole pile of that I'm trying to get rid of. Okay, and then these were 2-inch squares. Okay, so then after you get those done, you just have to figure out which piece you want those up against. And I think I like it like that. Okay. All right, so let's glue. Okay, I will link the video where I went into a lot more detail, and you can watch that. And I went into a lot more detail about how I did the actual cutting. Okay, so this 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. This is intended to be a really narrow little margin there. Okay. And since these, both of these pieces are cut out of the same 4 by 5 1/4, we want to get those lined up right up against each other. Okay, and then we're going to put this piece on and just, you know, eyeball it so that it lays over that spot where they come together. And then you just flip it over and you cut it right against there. Right, so that falls together. Okay, and this piece, you can't see the sketch at this point, but that's what I'm following. This piece is kind of centered, and that would be something you can do based on how you decide you want it to look. And then this goes on top of that so that it's above and below, and you've got a little bit of it showing over here. Now, I've got some bigger happy birthdays and other sentiments, so you don't need to triple layer your sentiments this way. I've just been doing this because I cut a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, you could do it like this. I mean, you don't need the extra in there. But like I said, I've got a bunch of circles I'm trying to find a use for. Then you put that there. Okay, or it could go over a little further. I think on the next one we'll shift it over a little further and see if we like that better. So let's lay this up right here. Okay, my air conditioner keeps kicking on in the back. It is August when I'm filming this. We have been under a horrendous heat dome. I'm in southern Illinois, and we have actually had a few days where it's been really, really cool. Yeah, like 55 degrees in the morning. It's just been wonderful, and it gets kind of warm again, but we're not under the triple digits like we were. What we have not had here is rain, and you can tell the leaves, it's like the end of August, but the leaves are already turning because of the drought and the heat, which is, I mean, we all love the fall, but it's a little on the early side, and the crops are struggling because of the drought. We had so much rain May, June, July. We kept, you know, April showers bring May flowers, but they brought, April showers brought more May showers, brought more June showers, more July showers, and now we have nothing. Okay, so that's the bigger piece up at the top. All right, so in this case, I'm using Barely Arts glue. I use wet glue. I don't use, you could use double-sided adhesives. Okay, I'm going to push this over a little bit more to the side than I did in this one, just to see if it looks a little different. Okay, and then this goes here. There are some people who take a piece of scrap and put it in underneath this so that it lays more evenly, because you can see a little bit of that. That's not something I have been in the habit of doing, but I've been thinking about trying to do that. Instead, I just put glue underneath there and squish it down. Okay, and then this goes here. Okay, so this could come all the way over to here. Okay, so that you've kind of got like a big bunch of stuff here, or it can go here. Okay. All right, and so with that in mind, the black came out of my scrap bin, but what we end up with scrap-wise is this. That's it. Out of 2 pieces of 6 by 6, and we get 2 cards. Okay, and this is all the scrap we have left. All right, so let's put this together. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would do so. It's not going to cost you anything, and you won't start getting emails or anything like that. I donate all of my cards to Cards for Kindness, which is now under a group called the Creative Foundation or something like that. That's rather new, but it's under scrapbook.com, and they act as a hub, and they get a lot of cards in from a lot of us, and they distribute them out to all kinds of organizations. And you can see on their site where the cards go, and that's the way I like to donate my cards. So my goal is to always push these videos out to beginning card makers. I'm a part of a Facebook group, and there's a lot of people still arriving into that group. The group is very large, but making cards is a part of the paper crafting extravaganza. And once you start doing this, you end up with lots and lots of cards, and probably more than what you would need for birthdays and hope you're feeling well, and everything else that you send cards out for. Uh, and so looking for a place to donate them makes a big difference. And Cards for Kindness is a great thing. And so I'm always trying to find ways to help beginning card makers, because that's how I learned how to do this. And I am just really absolutely thrilled that even as I was finishing the last video that was almost exactly like this, I had that idea, so I wanted to share that with you. And that's what the card making process is all about. Okay, so please go ahead and click the like button and the subscribe button, and if you have any questions, go ahead and put that in the comments below. And I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the video, and I hope you'll keep checking back. Thanks.